I was Cooper DeJean.
Corner, knew it.
Of course.
Two corners with like first-round grades.
But is Cooper DeJean a corner?
Well, even if it's a safety hybrid,
safety nickel, I mean,
They need help on defense for sure.
Yeah, but all the Eagles have done is basically just let the help come to. Like, I know they traded up here to get Cooper, but man, in the first round they just sat there and the best corner on the board came to them. Now they sit here and they're like, you know what? Let's take this first-round talent, Cooper, and figure out what we can do with him.
One of the most impressive and interesting prospects, I think, in this entire draft. First, it was not a fair catch against Minnesota. I mean, clearly, he was running toward the ball and Minnesota's defenders were coming after him, and that should have been a game-winning thing. But in high school, football, track, basketball athlete, was a quarterback, 3,500 passing yards, 1,500 rushing yards, 25 points a game in basketball. Iowa, Illinois, North and South Dakota State were the only schools recruiting him.
Wow.
God, and I think you mentioned the punt returning. I don't want to take that for granted.
Oh, absolutely.
He is an absolute
phenomenal athlete.
Well,
Phenomenal
remember
athlete.
the new kickoff rules this year too.
Great point.
Which I think he could potentially be moved. At times situationally when the game calls for it, you throw a curveball and you put Cooper out.
Can you go over those new rules, the new kickoff rules, just for those who haven't heard?
You want me to diagram the whole thing?
So,
thanks, Damien. No.
Listen, why not? Right?
Where's
the know?
Where's the whiteboard?
People want to know.
they're basically separating where the kick happens, and they're putting the return team and the kickoff team 10 yards apart from each other, and it's like 15 yards away from where the actual ball will be kicked to. It has to be kicked to into pocket and very.
So there aren't severe collisions.
What they're doing is they're limiting the pocket space. Now, I was lucky enough to cover the XFL a couple of years ago. Saw this a lot there. It's interesting because basically not a ton of returns happen that go, but all you have to do is get through one wall. And if you get one through wall.
I wonder if teams can sort of, instead of just going at it, just back it off, because how are you going to set up any sort of wedge? I mean, everyone's just sort of together there.
I think their hope is that
I think the wedge is done, right? I think the wedge is, they want the wedge to be dead.
Yeah, no, they already got rid of the wedge.
It's just going to end up being mano-a-mano. Can you hold that one block and then one move and somebody's gone? So, like, some of these returners are going to have a ton with them. And by the way, I feel like this has become an annual tradition. We know this about the Eagles, but man, like the Eagles, it feels like most years we walk away from the draft saying, yeah, pretty confident in the way they've done it. We were confident last year. I know their defense took a step back, but now they're addressing those needs. And this year's like they're just a smart drafting organization.